But yeah, I have no real segue for this episode, just because I couldn't think of anything. I could just splice in like our 5 minute talk of how this one random YouTube channel, which by the way I have no actual evidence that's a fake or a robot. It could just be
Uh-huh.
some dude who really likes to do these videos, and I'm just like mouthing off about how he's a shitty person. Uh, but you know,
I mean, I don't think if it is a person, I don't think it's a shitty person. It's sort of lazy, but I mean, it makes money, and so if it is a
right?
person doing it, more
Yeah,
power to them. But like, it feels
it's
like it's a
shady.
company,
Like
and
it's
it feels kind of shady. Yeah, it feels like it's a company, and it's you know some shady company trying to pretend to be a person. Is what it
right.
feels like.
This is like prime, fucking cyberpunk shit.
Yeah.
Like it is just like a very small piece, but this is indicative of like of a weirder issue where like there are companies doing this. Full stop. This might not be one of them, maybe,
Mhm.
but there are companies doing like on Twitter. Like there's a lot of fake people out there trying to sell you
Yeah.
shit.
And
By the way,
so I
this
guess
episode is
speaking
sponsored.
of
What?
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of companies, we could talk about the or the animation companies and Izoken, who's sort of doing a treatise, a conversation on them, trying to talk about animation companies and all of that, and the animation film, the
I feel like they're more
animation
talking.
making business.
I feel like they're more yeah, specifically making it, not like not about the industry, but about like actually producing it.
Yeah,
Right? I feel like it's more about that, not like a commentary on how kind of shitty the industry can be.
yeah, no, I definitely don't think they are. They're trying to portray it in a very positive light. I feel like, despite arguably the fact that like episode 4 was where they were like sleeping under desks and talking about like doing 24-hour days for a month and shit.
I feel like that
Like,
was a joke by the tall girl, but the shorty like wants to sleep under her desk because she thinks it's cool.
because yeah, that's what the pros do
Yeah,
as like a thing to look up to and aspire to, and that's sort of fucked.
yeah, it's kind of shitty. But they do stay there for like until 4 a.m. if I remember correctly. They stay there for a long ass fucking time.
I mean, yeah, they do because that's like the expectation of their industry, but it's definitely not right that it is that way.
I'm not. I never said it was right. I just pointing out a fact. I don't want to. I don't want to seem like I support those those work habits.
Yeah, the black companies that would do shit like that.
Yes. But at the same point, like it is also a celebration of just animation and wanting to make something that you love.
It
We
is,
can't
yeah.
forget that. I think that's more what Izokin's trying to like
Yeah,
to
they
show.
do. They do definitely get away with like, yeah. Arguably, if this was a company, I would say it's a shitty company, but instead, it's portrayed as like a passion project for these students, and
Yeah,
so I
like these
guess,
kids just having fun.
yeah, and like doing something that they enjoy because they want to, not because they're getting paid to do it and they're expected to do it.
Right.
So like, they make their decision to stay up till 4 a.m. working because they enjoy it, and that's okay.
And
It's a weird place to be in.
yeah, like because they are a couple of jokes, but they are jokes that like come from a very dark place in that industry, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it just sort of leaves a weird taste in your mouth.
A little
Because
bit,
like
yeah.
you want to be like supportive of these girls, trying their best and doing their thing and creating something like a passion project that you can clearly see like they enjoy what they're doing.
Right.
But like, I just feel conflicted saying like
That's
I support them staying up till 4 in the morning and doing all of this stuff just to try and create this you know film for no monetary gain. Like, this is just something they're doing because they want to, and it just sort of feels icky to say like, yeah, it's great that they're doing this.
I would be on the side of like, yeah, it's great that they're doing it because like they did choose to do all of it like for themselves, and like
Hmm.
they're not doing it for anyone else. They're doing it because they want to. If they want to succeed at something. But
I
that sort of situation is extremely exploitable because that's what's happening
mhm.
with like a bunch of developers who want to like make video games right now, where they're just getting dicked on by all these fucking companies
Yeah.
because they want to make a video game and like all power to them, and then they
Mhm.
get exploited for it.
Yeah, the crunch time thing is brutal and
Mhm.
really unfair and a really shitty business practice. Um, I think really the part about it that feels icky isn't just the fact that they're like doing all this extra work and like staying up super late just for this thing,
Mhm.
but it's the fact that it's being shown as a show, and it's being framed in like a commendable way of like, look how dedicated these girls are to their
Right,
art
because
form.
chances are some animators in the show had to do that.
Yeah, and like,
That's where it kind of like does kind of. Now that I'm thinking about it, it does kind of feel shitty.
yeah. And like it would be one thing if it was real people actually doing this and like choosing to do it for themselves as a passion project. Like if it was real people making that decision, I'd say more power to them. The fact that it's a show that other people are going to watch, knowing that people like real animators
Like,
probably had to stay up not for a passion project, for their job to do this, like it just sort of feels icky.
I would hope that no one had to do it for this show.
I looked up the studio. It is a small studio.
Oh no.
It is not a very large studio.
This art style does lend itself to be like it is simpler.
Uh,
That's why they can get away with a lot of more movement than other shows. But like it's still a lot of movement.
yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
And specifically in episode 4, the episode for this week,
Yeah, where
they
they
do talk about like some cost saving measures that they can use in anime, and then they
yeah,
sort of employ some with like the shots from behind as people talk, which they call the lip syncing shots.
right, because you don't
Um,
need lips in those shots, so you can get
yeah,
away with a static shot.
uh-huh. And like motion, like they use motion as like 2 to 3 frames that they sort of just toggle between to sort of create an effective motion in the background, so
And
you
then you
feel
can
like it's
randomize
alive.
it to kind of make it look a bit nicer.
Uh-huh. So like they definitely use some of the techniques they talk about that are like cost saving and time saving efforts. But at the same time, like they're still making a whole show, and there definitely are moments that look really good, and it's still a 20-minute long show, not a 2-minute short that they're
Yeah.
making. Like this took some time and some effort to create and color and all of that. And I hope that these people didn't get exploited in this small studio that only got founded because of they worked on an Adventure Time cartoon apparently.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm not
a
sure
lot of
which one.
American studios do kind of outsource some of their animation.
They worked on a season 6 episode, I think. I think it was called like Food Chain or something like that.
Okay,
If you know the Adventure Time episodes, I do not.
I do not either. I think I stopped watching like season 4 or something.
Okay.
But anyways,
But yeah,
yeah,
they worked on an adventure. They got hired to do an Adventure Time studio, and the studio was founded then. They have not done a whole lot since, and reportedly they only have a total of something in the area of 50 employees. So
also not
I
all
hope,
50 are animators.
yeah, not all 50 are animators. So I hope they're not being exploited and taking advantage of to do this. But there is that part in the back of my mind that sort of says there's an above average chance just based on the industry. So I guess overall what I'm trying to say here is like it's a very conflicting message of the show of like the passion project and like the pure-hearted intentions of these girls, and then as an audience member, if we look just sort of slightly beyond it into the real world, it starts to get like it starts to hit close to home.
Right.
And it was one of those things like watching it, I looked up and it does actually have source material. It started as a manga. It
Yep.
wasn't
Which
original as an anime,
won
which
a bunch of
feels a little bit
awards.
better.
Right,
Did it
because
win a bunch of awards?
yeah, a bunch of awards.
Was
So like you have the storyboard there, so yeah, it makes it a bit easier. Not the storyboard, but a like a seed for the storyboard.
Yeah, they like a template they can more or less follow.
Hmm.
So it doesn't feel like some suit or some like office worker, basically like script writer, came up with this story and is like forcing the animators in the studio to write this thing about passion projects and animation or anime creation. Like it was created as a manga that somebody worked on and really felt a lot about. So like there is more to this story than just an original something created just to sell as an anime.
Hmm.
So it's not completely awful. Like it doesn't leave a completely sour taste in my mouth when I think too hard about it, but there's just sort of the edges of some like inky, complicated feelings I'm starting to have about it.
Right. I think this might be Masaki Yusa's um like own studio that he started. The director of Devilman Crybaby and Ping
Oh,
Pong.
really?
Yeah, that's his name, Masaki Yusa. It's on here. I just remembered. But yeah,
Mm.
they also did Devilman Crybaby 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I have no idea if they're being treated well. I hope they're being paid. Like
Yeah, I
Devilman
hope so
Crybaby is
too.
fantastic and looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if anything, they've got like a lot of talent in that studio.
And this is certainly for a show that sort of is wonky at times. Like overall, the art style is
It's
delightful to
consistent. Yeah,
look
it's
at.
consistent. It's pretty. It's
No.
fun. Um, Yeah.
There is some like, just in terms of like some plot things, there's some weirdness about it. The fact that they have like their whole PC room that has a whole like data rig set up in the middle of it is sort of bizarre.
Yeah, there like I said, like things just are in some weird places sometimes. Like the whole teacher office being inside a pool,
Hmm.
like in the computer room. I guess like having a server in the computer room kind of makes sense, but like you wouldn't really do that
Yeah, it's a little bit bizarre to see it just sort of in
just
the
in the
middle
middle.
of
It's
the
like a
room
pillar.
with like a whole bunch of random like cables coming out of it up into the ceiling. Like that feels like it should be in some supply closet somewhere, like somewhere else,
Yeah.
not just in the middle of the PC room, because it's clearly wired to more than just the PCs in that room.
At the very least, it does give that room a bit more character.
It definitely does.
There's
And
a
everything about this whole universe the show is set in has a lot of bizarre character.
Yeah, like they do definitely like to add like a lot of fun little things in each room.
Hmm. Um, but we also have in this episode we go to see the student council to
Right.
try and get
To try to get
our
the
budget
money.
passed. Yeah, and we find out that the budget committee or the budget proposal thing is run a little bit like a free for all bloodbath, and is controlled by the student security group
The
or
student
whatever
no,
the
the
fuck they
student
were called.
security club. They were the
Student security
security
club.
club.
Yeah, they were the security club. You're right. I'm sorry. So yeah, they have a riot police equipped security club at this school.
I like the first club proposed, which was the carbohydrates club, where you eat ramen with rice.
With rice, and they've invented a fungus that makes it taste better.
uh,
I did appreciate when they got to the student council's rebuttal to all of that. One of the things was there's no scientific evidence to support this. I also appreciate that one of the other ones was the cultural expectation is that you do not eat rice and ramen together, and it's disgusting that you would suggest this. It was a good blend of like both a real and a, you know, more emotional opinion.
right. I do like the council students. They were pretty funny. They
Yeah.
did have some great back and forth with our trio.
Hmm. You could tell that they were, really trying to front on us because they were holding the mic sideways.
Yeah. Well, one of them was really holding the mic sideways.
Yeah. Well, because she was black. Brendan, cut that. Don't cut that.
But then we watch the short that they made, the two minute short, where it starts to like go out of the page, basically go outside of the screen and start affecting people in the audience. Just because they're like kind of overwhelmed that like these three kids would make something like this, and they've been encaptured by what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Which goes to show like how talented our girls are.
Mhm.
And
We see as through the course of it, not only does it feel like they're really there, but they
Yeah.
actually see the impact of it in their real lives. They feel the wind blowing. One of the kids, as the tank is shooting, actually sees a shell laying on the ground
Yep.
next to him in the real auditorium that they're in. And you really start to have this feeling of like they're not just feeling like they're in that world, but they can actually experience it in their real lives. They they are connecting with the film on
Yeah.
like a physical level.
They completely bought into it.
Yeah.
They bought into a bunch of drawings being flipped.
Pretty much, yeah. And it was interesting watching because we saw some of the animation that they were going to include in this short film in this episode. We saw some in episode 3 as well,
Mhm.
with like when she was using the grapple gun. And it was interesting to watch because there were definitely moments where I was like, this isn't that good. Like specifically when she deployed her parachute in the wingsuit, like there was just something about that shot where I was like, something about that's not right. Like that just looks off.
Yeah, but like
And
it
like
makes
it
sense.
got to the end. Yeah, it got to the end, and we heard the three girls talking amongst themselves about like what they had messed up and what could be done better, and like specific reasons that it didn't look right and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And like it really, you got the opinion like it wasn't supposed to be perfect. It was supposed to be,
Like they're literally
what
just
three
kids who did
people
this.
yeah. And so I think they captured it really well of like walking that line between creating something that was good to look at because we the audience had to want to watch the show for
Yeah.
2 minutes while that went on, and at the same time showing us like this is a student project. So we got to see their talent and at the same time see some of the weaknesses that they have and things they can improve on. It doesn't feel like it was done by, the professional studio, the
Right.
professional animators in the studio. It
Mhm.
feels like it was done by these three girls. So I really have to commend the studio for capturing that essence.
It's fantastic.
It was very interesting to watch because we really got to experience it from the audience in the show's perspective,
Hmm.
which I feel like was really cool.
Once again, they did a really good job at making us buy into the fact that this was made by 3 high school girls.
Yeah.
But towards basically because it captured everyone, the student council, oh my god, what's the word? What's the word for? Oh god, surrenders? They don't surrender.
Approves.
Approves? Yeah, they approve. I was looking for a smarter word, but approves works. They approve it with a big ass green stamp says approved in Japanese, I
Yeah.
think. And yeah, we get the background talking of how they could have done better, and I think that's the end of the episode. I don't remember what happens afterwards.
Yes. I believe it
Yeah.
ends there.
It gets approved, and then we get the nice little ending. I like the
Yeah.
ending more than the opening.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think more people like the opening though, at least from what I saw on Reddit.
I think most people do like the opening. Every time the opening starts, it reminds me of the Cage the Elephant song from the first Borderlands trailer, No Rest for the Wicked.
Oh, with like
It
the whole
had-
like twangy guitar.
Yeah, the twangy guitar, like pseudo banjo noise that it starts off with.
Hmm.
They both start off with like a very similar note pattern on that same sort of like sound. And so every time the opening starts, I just see the Borderlands trailer in my mind. And like I can only imagine them as Borderlands characters, and so I have to skip it.
Nah.
It weirds me out.
I do like the dancing in the opening though. I think it's pretty cute. And like
It is pretty good.
all the lights are all the colors are fucking trippy. I love that too.
Yeah. They
Uh,
definitely make the most out of their animation style when it comes to the movement.
Yeah,
Um.
and that's Izoken.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh,
episode.
when we cut back to the students in the auditorium, I was going to say after the film,
Yeah.
I was going to say that for watching them be like physically affected by the film and like seeing the wind and blowing away all the papers, when it cuts back to them, we do see like that was just something that they were feeling. The
Yeah.
world isn't actually affected by their film, and I feel like that was an important shot of like because this show has a tendency to blend like
Reality
the animation
and-
stuff
yeah.
and it blends reality and animation together, like the animation world together. I feel like that shot of like, but it didn't really affect the world was sort of an important one because I think this was like the first time I could think of where
It didn't
was
physically
really an
affect the
overlap.
world.
yeah, this didn't physically affect the world. That's fair. Yeah, this is the first time we ever had like a really heavy overlap between the two.
Yeah, because usually it'll be the real world and then just cut to the fake world, and you see how they're connected by how the characters are talking to each other. Like when we had the astronaut being left out in space and trying to get back home.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention last week, forgot to, and so I'll mention it this week. The sound effects while they're in like the animation world. Have you noticed that they're like 50% like the actual sound effect it's supposed to be, and 50% like voice done sound effects by the voice actors?
Wait, they're like for the they do little sounds when they're using the welders or like the when they're using the thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed
Yeah,
a little bit of that, mostly for
Or
like.
they were the dragonfly thing. They're making like a for the wings.
No, I did not notice that.
Yeah, they do a little bit for all of the noises.
Okay, I'll try to look out for that some more.
It definitely happens in the episode you haven't watched yet.
Okay, it's a bit more pronounced.
There's the first time they go into the animation world, there's like a pretty heavy like overlap of the like voice sounds with the real sounds.
Okay.
Where like it really stood out to me as like because that watching that episode was what reminded me of to bring this up.
Okay.
Was like how heavy the overlap was between them, where my brain was like, this is something I wanted to mention. The fact that they're doing this, which is kind of cool.
Awesome. Right, because like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist outside of their imagination.
Yeah. And so, like, anything that happens in their imagination world, the girls have to provide the sound effect for what it would be like. And at the same time, we get to see their imagination of this is how it would sound, and this is them making the sound together.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of cool way of blending the two.
That's cool. So yeah, that was Izoken. Do you have any more thoughts on this wonderful little show about 3 girls following their passion and may or may not be about animators crying for help.
Yeah, hopefully not. Not as bad as that one Emoto show that we didn't end up watching, where they were literally
Oh,
crying for help.
that makes me sad.
Rip that studio. I actually don't know if it's dead yet, but I hope it is.
I don't know if it is. But
But you
anyways,
know, I don't have anything else to say, so
so we
we
can
can
move
move
on
on
to our
to
next show about toilets. But there are no
Go.
toilets in this episode.
There were not any toilets in this episode. You're correct. We got to instead find out more. I forgot to bring up. We saw like the shadow of the person that they had created in the episode before this one. Like right at the end,
Yeah.
we got to see the shadow of it. That shadow fucking destroyed me.
It just looks so
Seeing-
goofy.
Yeah, seeing the one flexed arm and the other one is just a broom handle that stuck straight out.
And the
was
big
so-
ass titties with the abs.
Yeah. Oh my god, that body was amazing. I want to be that when I grow up. Yeah, so
a strong right arm and a broom arm.
yeah, exactly.
That's me already, boys.
Go away, I'm baiting.
But anyways,
But
Toilet
yeah.
Bound Hanako-kun. Take it away, Nick.
So we begin with actually getting to see the wonderful creation that they've, as they've assembled these pieces to not be killed by the dolls.
Right.
They threw them in the boxes one at a time as they looked for all the individual pieces to make a person, and now we've arrived at the top floor, and we see the person we've created, and it magnificently reveals that it is a steaming pile of garbage.
It's
to
some
us.
fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
But Misaki's kind of okay with it, because she doesn't know what a real person looks like.
exactly.
That's
yeah,
a
she
tip
just
off to
wanted
what's
a
going
body.
on to her. With her.
Yeah. She just wanted a body for, as we find out, Misaki.
Yes, because she isn't
'Cause
Misaki.
We don't know at the moment that she's not Misaki, but it is suggested because she says, now you have a body, Misaki, and breathes something into this creation that turns it to life.
And then it
And
falls.
then it sort of falls apart
Yes.
because it's wildly unbalanced.
It's got one normal-ish leg, I think, and then a wheel.
Yeah, it has one normal leg and a wheel, one really flexed bronze type arm, and a broom.
Yeah, I
Some
don't
sort of
know what that
bizarre
chick was
doll's head.
thinking, because like none of those things would like all the shit we saw in these episodes like would not have worked to create a person.
I feel like it's one of those impossible tasks
Yeah.
sort of thing.
I guess so.
Because I feel like, yeah, she couldn't exactly have like real people parts lying around. That'd be a little bit gruesome. It's like I imagine it was just like all of the random fucking detritus from life that she sort of just collected and was like, yeah, when you show up in my realm, use this stuff that I've collected and make me a person that I can put Misaki into.
But yeah,
But-
she gets pissed off and then
She
starts
gets
to
pissed
fight.
off that Misaki falls apart and decides she is going to live up to her reputation and
rumor.
tear them apart.
Mhm.
Her rumor, yes, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's the
Live
same
up to
thing.
her rumor and tear them apart. Yeah, but the show like put an emphasis on the fact
Yeah.
that it was about the rumors about them, so I guess I should use the word rumor. But she rips out her giant pair of scissors and
Snip.
tries to cut. Fuck, what's her name?
Nene.
Nene. She tries to cut Nene, and she is blocked by not Sun Wukong. And we find out that the scissors don't actually cut you apart; they just turn your body parts into doll parts.
Yes, and now he has one little Kermit hand.
Yeah. And we also now find out that, or we found out slightly before this, that all of the other students had also failed and had been turned into dolls
Yes.
by the ghost.
Another
Number
little
two.
thing we also find out is that there's limitations to when Hanako can put on his like cape, like super
Yeah.
mode thing.
His super mode cape.
Basically, like because this is Masaki, at least because this is the ladies' realm, he is not allowed to use his power for some reason. That's just the rule.
Yes.
That's just the rule.
That's just the rule.
So they need to find the Yoshiaro. They need.
The Yoshito, maybe?
I don't know.
remember.
Fuck it. They need to find the totem.
Yeah.
They need to find her totem and then peel the sticker off of it.
Yes.
Because that like separates her power stuff.
Yeah,
that's just the
it
rule.
It breaks her control over the thing.
I assume it has something to do with like Japanese folklore that I have no idea about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I mean,
like,
I'm assuming it's like they're object-bound ghosts. Like he's
Yeah.
toilet-bound Hanako, and so she was Misaki, like scissors-bound Misaki, I guess, or scissors-bound ghost.
yeah,
And so they're bound to the items, I guess. I mean, ghosts being bound to objects is sort of like a common thing in a lot of cultures, so I can envision like that's what it is.
yeah. But
But
she-
Hanako decides, we need to find this object. We've come all the way to the top floor and it's not here. It's probably at the bottom floor then. So he ties a rope around Nene and, in full-on yandere face mode, boots her off the top floor and she falls into the basement.
Where she
And,
survives somehow.
yeah, she survives somehow. Hanako has a mean yandere face going down. That kid, I feel like, is going to turn into a villain.
Oh, Hanako. He gets even yandere at the end of this episode.
Yeah, he really does.
He turns it up to 11. But in the basement, we see that Nene finds a book, which I honestly thought was going to be the totem, but it's not. It is a book. Basically, it's like a kind of a children's workbook, where they have to, like, write sentences and letters and stuff. And at the bottom, there's teacher remarks, and we find out that at this point, Misaki is the teacher.
Yeah.
And the woman, I'm not entirely sure we know her name, but the ghost is writing, in the book with the remarks from the teacher. At some point, we get to a point where the teacher's no longer responding, and the ghost gets super fucking creepy. Like, he's not here anymore. He's not here anymore. He's not here anymore. For a bunch of stuff. And then, Nana's reading all this, and she's getting tips as to, like, what the item might be. Specifically, she gets a tip off from when she writes about how Misaki had given her a haircut, and had given her the scissors, which is why she uses scissors all the time. And then she starts to look around for the Hanako, I think. She puts down the book and starts running around for some reason. I don't remember why. But
she puts down the book because the ghost shows up, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it happened, like, simultaneously. But yeah, the ghost shows up because she's done with Hanako, and she's about to, like, snip her apart. And then Haku Jodai?
Yes.
Jodai? The red ghost thingy comes out of like a little pocket, and then turns into Hanako. That was his little safeguard for her.
It protects her. It
Yeah.
protects Nene as the ghost goes in, because she's got Nene, like, pinned against a tree, and she basically says, like, now it's time for you to turn into a doll.
Oh.
And Haku Jodai comes out and, like, pops the scissors sort of away so that Nene is safe, and Hanako materializes. I don't know if he comes, like, pops out of Haku Jodai, or if he just sort of followed the ghost down. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Hanako is now here, looking well worse for wear.
Yes.
And seeing this, Nene sort of says, like, what can we do? You look like you're in a bad shape. What are we going to do? And he basically says, you've got to find this, the sacred item and peel the sticker off, and it'll unleash her powers, let me use mine.
Right.
And Nene realizes that in the journal, it specifically mentioned that the girl was going to leave the scissors that she'd gotten from Misaki in the Wasteland Shrine.
Yeah.
So Nene tries to make a bolt for the shrine, as Hanako tries to block the ghost from following, and Nene ends up getting grabbed by little dolls, and she has a moment with the ghost as she says, basically, you remind me of me back when I was obsessed with boys, but you're not actually, doing this because you're not doing this to have a love with Misaki, you're doing this for you because you love Misaki and don't care about how he feels, essentially. The ghost is sort of affected by this, but isn't fully swayed. I mean, nobody's going to get swayed in one sentence in the heat of battle, sort of thing. So it kind of makes sense that she still doesn't want to lose. But Nene does a nice little, jump face plant off one of the dolls, lands in full hero pose, sprints to the shrine, and just begins to tear the tag off of the scissors. But that's enough to release Misaki's powers, let Hanako whip out his full power cape, and
then stabs her.
Release her from her duties as number 2 ghost.
Yes. I'm glad that Nene got something to do. Like, she wasn't just useless.
Yeah, I was too.
Like, she actually, does stuff.
Yeah.
If anyone was useless, it was Sun Wukong.
Yeah, it was.
Because
he'll have an arc someday.
He's still a fucking stuffed animal.
Yeah, he turned into a stuffed animal.
But then we go.
Yes.
Go ahead.
We go back to the school, and we see Nene wake up, and Hanako sort of crouched over her, and it's revealed to us that our ghost was not a student of Misaki, not a human student of Misaki. She was a fox spirit.
Yes. Who I guess became a ghost.
I mean, it's a
really
fox
weird.
Spirit, so I guess it was always a spirit.
Yeah, right. It's ghosty stuff. It's just weird ghost stuff.
It's Japanese ghost stuff. However, fox spirits show up, it shows up that way, probably.
Yep. And she's a super tsundere. She's just fucking hilarious.
So we see that she was cared for by Misaki, and Misaki
Mhm.
could see her, but I guess the other people couldn't. And we see a picture that gets taken with the ghost in it, but when we see the picture again, the ghost isn't in it, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Right, because she's a
Um,
ghost.
yeah, because she's a ghost. Makes sense.
Well, because we see it 3 times. The first time, I don't think she's in it. Because I don't think she's in it.
Well, the first time we see it, the show sort of tries to
Yeah, to the top left
convey
corner.
us that it's the top left
Right,
girl.
and I thought that was her
I did too.
until it comes up with like the ghost thing, where she's a
Yeah,
little
until we see the
kitsune.
ghost girl, the ghost fox girl, where I finally realized like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because the ghost has blonde hair and that girl in the top left had like brown hair.
I thought that was a black and white picture though.
I mean, it was, but
But
she
yeah,
definitely had
actually,
like,
yeah, even if it's black and white, the fact that she has dark hair
yeah,
would
you can kind of tell.
yeah. But I thought it was a fun
But
little misdirect.
I
'Cause
did
it
too.
misdirected the fuck out of me.
It got me. I absolutely believed it was that girl in the top left, and just like you said, like that journal was like a student's type diary,
Yeah.
and so I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, it's a fox spirit, not a student. I was thinking it's a student. It's gonna be one of the people in that picture. But yeah, so I don't even know if she really was a student, but just judging on that diary, I feel like she was learning something from Masaki
Well,
because
no, no, 'cause she says how Masako would come by and teach her how to use an abacus and stuff.
oh right, yeah,
So he was teaching her
yeah, because he was definitely marking
the book.
the journal that she was writing in.
Mhm.
Because at first she wasn't super comfortable with the Japanese language, and so she like wrote fun in a weird way, where I guess she like overemphasized one of the vowels, and instead of writing scared,
Yeah,
she wrote like something
it's one of those
similar.
things where like it's not easily translatable. Because this is
Yeah,
like
like
mistakes.
I get the yeah. Basically, the implication was there were spelling mistakes.
Yeah.
So like maybe she messed up some of the characters, maybe she used the wrong character, stuff like that. But yeah, she was making some spelling mistakes early on, and the teacher was correcting them and sort of like offering her, reasons to keep going, like trying to emphasize, like, yeah, keep writing, you're doing well,
Reassuring
this is what you
comments.
could do better. Yeah,
Mhm.
and like as she went on, like the notes sort of like they stopped being like corrections and more just like the teacher would mention something about what she had written about like oh he cut my hair and he was like well I was trying to fix it for you I wasn't doing it to be mean and stuff like that. And we go back to the school. Nene wakes up and we see that this fox ghost is not actually dead. She's been relieved of her duties as the number 2 spirit in the school, but she's not dead. She's returned to her normal appearance as a fox spirit. And Nene, gives her back the picture and says, I don't forgive you for what you've done, but I'm sorry that I destroyed something you held dear. So here's this picture of the person you cared about.
She tries to hug
And
it, and then it bites her.
yeah, tries to hug it out, much like Nene did with the rabbits from 2 episodes ago. But the fox spirit is a tsundere, and
Yep.
so yeah, it bites her hand, runs away, says we're not going to be friends, turns around and tells her the fox's name is I don't remember Yuko or something like that,
Yeah. I don't know.
and says
Kitsune, whatever.
if you ever call me fox again, I'll bite your whole hand off. So it is definitely a full-on tsundere fox spirit.
And she will definitely be coming back, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And then we have a little moment with Hanako and Nene.
Where
As-
Hanako, like, forces himself on her.
Yeah, Hanako performs the wall slam or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah,
It-
Japanese word, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Japanese sexual assault word. And then he leans in for a cheek kiss, I guess.
Yeah, they cut away from it, so we don't know.
We don't know, but he says this is your reward, and we see Nene's face go full red. So
Yes.
I guess it's implied that there is some sort of kiss type reward, and she's starting to have feelings for a dead boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out that the black crane that was slipped into her pocket, it drifts on back to the guy who sent it to her, and we find out the guy is actually being sort of manipulated by a green-haired girl.
who I
and
think
she
is also a rumor.
I don't. I feel like she might be, but at the same time, I
She
feel like
she knows
was
who
also the
Hanako
green-haired girl.
is.
Yeah, and she has a something Jodai, one of the spirits.
That's why I think she's one of the ghosts. Because she has the
That's why I
Jodai.
feel like she could be too. But I feel like she was also the person who was doing like the rumor talk, like the rumor radio show that we were hearing for the first couple episodes.
Right, which they didn't do this episode, and I was upset.
I was too. I wanted to see her because I wanted to see if it was the green-haired girl or not.
Oh,
Tried to
that's
figure that
maybe
out.
why they didn't show it.
Then maybe it was. You're right.
Well,
Maybe
we'll
we'll
see.
start off next episode with one.
Yeah, we'll see. But next episode is going to be about, I don't know, because I specifically skipped the next preview because it didn't have the a radio show host. I'm
That's fair.
boycotting.
We want the radio show host,
Right.
or we're not going to watch it at all.
But also not Sun Wukong is still stuffed animal
Yeah,
at the bottom
but
of the floor.
they're supposed to turn back after 24 hours.
Yeah, but he's chilling
He's
on a
just gonna
dirty
hang out
floor.
at the door. Yeah. He probably wanted to go home with Nene.
Yeah, that was the episode. All right,
Yeah,
I forgot he has a thing for Nene.
Yeah. I mean, he's a middle school student? Last year middle school?
Yeah, last year
Maybe
middle
first
school.
year of high school, something like that?
I think it's last year
Yeah,
middle.
last year middle. I think so. So, he's a angsty boy.
Yeah,
She's a girl who's near him.
and yeah,
That's the way nature works at that age.
and such is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. We just finished this arc. I feel like each arc we might be getting a new friend.
Maybe.
Because like the first time we met Hanako.
Uh-huh.
Not Sun Wukong, just kind of is off in the middle. Who gives a shit about him? But for
Right.
like Yosei-san, we had little bunnies. Then we've got the little cat or the fox.
Uh-huh.
We also technically have her friend. What's her face?
Aoi.
Aoi. There we
I
go.
think.
And if next episode we make another friend, then I feel like I feel okay in saying that there's going to be a new friend each arc.
You're probably going to be right.
Because like, even though there are like some darker subject matter, like the fact that there are a bunch of students who had like got turned into dolls and just
Dolls.
were
Forgotten about.
in
Yeah.
purgatory, basically.
Yeah.
Like there's still like just a lot of fun stuff. Like there's still a lot of comedy in the show,
Yeah.
which I
I
like.
mean, yeah, for what ostensibly, if you think too hard about it, with the whole stairs and the fact that if you get sucked into the stairs and turned into a doll,
You basically die.
history rewrites itself
You just-
around
yeah.
your existence. So
Everyone
people
just
forget about you. That's a little dark if you think too hard about it. But like, there's a lot of comedy and like cute moments that sort of happen around that.
just like real
Like,
life.
barring Hanako's weird, murder
Yandere,
face
yeah.
thing that he's got going on.
Exactly.
I mean, the show definitely is like hinting at the edges, not just with Hanako, but like even with its opening and an ending. Specifically more its ending.
I don't like
It's
the
definitely
opening.
hinting
We'll get to that in a
the
second.
opening's okay in my opinion. But yeah, the ending definitely has some like the images of it have some like
Yeah, it's very
hints
scratchy
to-
and dark. They're
Yeah.
being like split apart at the end.
uh-huh. And like we have moments of like it's all done in white and red and then it cuts to black and red and things are slightly different in the black and red version. Like it's hinting at like things are weird, things are changing, there's some like impact of stuff. And it's very like this side and the other side is a lot
Yeah.
of the imagery. And like the melding of the two of them and then them being split apart back to their original sides.
I love that shit. I love the ending.
It's definitely a lot of like
Symbolism.
implication in the ending. We'll see how they, if it's just purely we did this because we can, or if they are actually trying to say something as time goes on.
Yeah. But who knows? We'll find out soon enough because we'll continue to watch this show because this show's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Another show that's fun, I guess, is.
Is it? Is it fun? Would you say that?
It's got its fun moments. Raising a kid isn't all awful, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a parent. But yeah,
I mean-
Somali and the Forest Spirit.
I don't know if raising a kid is all. If I would say, whether or not raising a kid is all awful, but I will say, raising a kid when you're likely going to die soon, feels a little, eh.
Yeah, but like we really got to that at the end of this episode. Let's focus on what actually happened in the episode.
Okay.
Don't remind me, Nick. This adventure
I mean,
ends.
This show is throwing in our face. Again, I am still firmly on the fence, on the side of, I don't think he's actually going to die.
I think he will die. Just he will find a way to live a little bit longer.
I guess, yeah. He will die. I just don't think he'll die.
Right away.
I don't even think he'll die in the season, realistically.
I don't think so because there's still a lot more left. I think the manga will end with the golem dying.
I think so.
But in this season, no, I don't think so, because it's just 12 episodes. I don't think we're gonna get like even halfway through what's out in the manga.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this episode, we continue our little story of Kilua? I don't remember his name.
Kilikua?
Kilua.
It only had two Ks.
Kalula.
Kahlua. He's a coffee liqueur.
Yep. Kalula. It's Kalula, right? Not Kalua. No, it's Kalua.
What, the coffee liqueur?
Yeah, is it
It's
Kalua?
Kahlua.
Okay, what am I thinking of Kalula? Whatever.
I don't know.
I might just remember something completely wrong. But yeah, Kalua and Somali are often like the underground forest exploring, where they finally come across like the bear hunter guy thing. And we're supposed to like, kind of believe that Somali might be in danger because this guy looks fucking menacing. He's actually a big softie.
He's got an eye patch.
Yep, he's got an eye patch. He's got a fucking crossbow.
He's a wolf with an eye patch. Therefore, he's a villain.
Yep.
We profiled him, Brandon.
But he's actually Kalua's teacher and kind of shows him around in the forest. Basically, kids are allowed in the forest, but only with the Guardian. The Guardian are like the Tsushinko.
Yeah,
He's
basically
part
they're
of.
like the ranger. They're like the forest rangers,
Yeah.
except for they're the underground rangers.
Exactly. And basically he tells him, get the fuck out of here. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, it's
But-
not safe for
yeah.
you guys to be down here.
But Molly continues and says, I want to find the flower. And then finds out that the flower she got is starting to die. The wolf tells her, like, all the flowers around here are being fed by like a tree that's too small and it won't survive that long. We have to go deeper into the forest to actually get a flower that, will live longer. And eventually, Somali is able to convince him that, it's okay to keep going. So they go ahead and go. And we have these, like basically, we have a montage of them making the journey. You don't actually see, like, much animation, which kind of makes sense because it might kind of be boring just to watch them walking around.
Yeah,
But eventually we get a part where, there's a stream and we see that Somali's, like, very, go get them. Like, she's very headstrong, while Kalu's a bit more scared.
yeah.
But
And
eventually,
they both have a moment of like staring at the stream and kind of
Yeah.
saying like, we have to jump across this. Some of those jumps look, long for our short little child legs. And the wolf dude's like, you kids want to go? You guys gotta make this trip yourself. Like,
Yep.
I'm not gonna fucking baby you kids. So we see Somali, just sort of run into it and say, I'm gonna go for it. I need to go. I've got to do this myself.
Mhm.
Kahlua is a little bit more on the fence, but he makes his way across eventually as well.
we don't
The
actually
kids
see
are
it.
committed to their journey.
Right. And eventually they actually get to it. It's actually like under like these mushrooms that act as like little landing pads. It's really cool because they jump in, they kind of fall through, and they kind of just start jumping, like bouncing around, and they just face plant right into the fucking ground.
Yep.
My favorite fucking part.
After
And-
we bounce off like a mushroom or two,
Yeah.
yeah, they just eat shit on the fucking ground.
My favorite part is like the wolf just like climbs down the rope.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is the, childlike side of, we need to get through these mushrooms, we're going to jump through these mushrooms, and we'll probably be okay. Whereas the wolf, old man style is like, yeah,
Fuck
I'm going to
that
go ahead and take this
garbage.
rope. This is not worth it.
But yeah, they come across that big ass tree that like feeds the little flowers a bit better, and they go out to get pick one of the flowers, and they see this big frog. Or the wolf sees this big frog thing and looks really menacing. And it's the guardian of the flowers, and it's basically like just staring at Somali and Killua like they're like two little bite-sized nuggets because that
Yep.
shit's fucking ready. The wolf like kind of pulls out his crossbow to take the shot maybe. He doesn't really want to because if he does, it might just anger it, and then it'll just eat them anyways.
Yeah.
Because I doubt one little crossbow shot's gonna come and kill it. But Somali, kind of like starts not freaking out, but like yelling about how she needs the flower because she wants to make a wish for her father to stay forever. And then like two little other frogs come from the top of his like the other frog's head, and the frog's like, "I get you," and then she walks away.
I feel this pain. And so, yeah, it decides that Somali has deserved
Yeah.
a flower because for her father.
We've
Man.
connected. It has my soul, Charlie.
You and I are one now. We are blood. Yeah.
Yep.
So she gets given a flower, kind of, by the giant frog thing. And it goes home. The wolf is sort of impressed that she's been given this flower by the protector of the tree,
Which,
and we now
by
have
the
a
way,
flower.
he knew there was like this protector of the flowers, and like he didn't say anything.
Yeah, he kind of just let them walk into that one and didn't say anything until it showed up.
Yeah, look, you
I
can
mean,
only pick
maybe
these.
it protects like a wide range, and so he didn't know if it was going to be
That's
here
true.
today, kind of thing.
But he just mentioned like if like the frog lets you go, it means like you're all fucking set. And like I guess Somali should have asked like you knew there was a frog,
Yeah, she really should have.
but she's a little girl. She doesn't understand yet. Kayla doesn't really give a shit either. But then they go back to the restaurant. This entire time we see that there's something off about the golem. He actually forgets an order, like unlike his usual self. And the other two pick up on that, and they see that he's kind of nervous and worried.
Hmm.
I do like the way I don't know if it's the way they animated or like just something about the way they portray the golem. You can kind of like feel that he's kind of worried. I don't know if that's just me being worried for him. It's weird because like he has no facial expressions at all, and basically never changes his voice.
Uh-huh.
But like it just feels like he's feeling emotions or starting to. At least that's the way it feels to me. It's very weird.
I think it's interesting because I feel like it has to be done through like body. Fuck, I can't think of the word now.
Body expression, body movement.
Yeah, like yeah, kind of. That's
Body
the word
language,
for,
body language, oh my God.
Body language. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it has to be done through body language.
But like,
is like
he's still kind of just like it's very stiff.
exactly, yeah. Like there's nothing about it that I can pinpoint. Like he feels like nothing about him changes, and you do kind of get that feeling of like when he feels anxiety, when he feels the comfort when she gets back, when he feels upset that she's sick.
But
Like
for sure, like the one body language piece that I did felt like he was like kind of very antsy was the moment like he finds out that someone's sick and he just bolted out the fucking door to look for medicine.
yeah,
Like that's like the most expressive he's ever been.
I mean that one also is a little bit unfair because he's running, which is like
Yeah.
the first time, or like running for a golem.
Yeah.
It's the fastest we've ever seen him move, and it's like that one's a little bit unfair because it definitely is a little bit more in your face about it. You could definitely tell that one.
The running, yes, but like I specifically mean when he's still in the restaurant. Like he has like this fast walk going on. Like he's not running, but he just looks tenser or feels tenser.
Yeah,
There is a lot of like not action, but a lot of film language going on to make you feel that way because he has no facial expressions to do that for you. So like the story's built up in a way that makes it easier for you to empathize with him. In my opinion.
all right, that's fair.
Yeah, I really love the golem. The way they're doing the golem, it's fantastic in my opinion. But yeah, Somali does get sick, so golem heads off to find some medicine for her, because she's a human. He can't say that he's looking for human medicine. I think he goes back to one of the shopkeepers he met earlier, and basically just keeps knocking on the door until he wakes up. And says, get me
Yeah.
some medicine for any creature. Of
Yeah.
course, this medicine like that would be kind of expensive, so he gives everything that he's earned at that point. And then,
Yep.
gets the medicine and helps out Somali, and Somali kind of gets better. She talks about how, the golem mentions, they have to stay here for a little bit longer because they need more money. And Somali clues into the fact that he'd spent all the money for her and kind of gets upset about it, but our golem reassures her that,
Money can be
Yeah,
re-earned,
money
but your
can be-
life can't be re-earned.
exactly. Basically, just showing that he does truly care about Somali. Like, at this point, she is the most important thing to him.
Yeah.
It's not the journey anymore to get her safe, it's her.
Yes, absolutely.
And then at the end of the episode, we get, hey, Golem, remember, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Every
Remember
episode, we
you're
need
gonna die.
that. Every episode, they just need to drive that home, that
Yeah.
this guy's gonna
as
fucking
soon
die.
as it feels kind of good, Somali is happy. They're a family. Everything's hunky dory.
It's the stupid
Golem,
fucking
you're gonna
wolves. God.
I mean, he also in this episode does make a promise of "I'll be with you forever,"
Yes.
knowing full well that he has a year and change left.
Yep.
So we will see what happens with our golem, but it is
Not looking good.
not looking good. He definitely has, death flagged himself with the "promise me we'll be together forever." Okay, I promise thing.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, not a good idea.
Not the best thing to do in an anime.
Yeah. But I feel like if they kill the golem, like outright just kill the golem, not get to the end of his life and have him die, but like if he is killed by something, I would be shocked.
In a good way or a bad way? I guess no. I think that's an unfair question because it depends on the story. Because it
Yeah.
can be built up in a good way or a bad way.
I just would be very surprised if that was like the route they took to decide like this is how the golem's life is going to end. We're going to have him die, not or we're going to have him killed, not just regular die or reach the end of his lifespan. We're going to have him killed by something. It would be shocking. It could be done well, but it is very shocking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else to say about this episode? I actually don't really have anything else. My main thing was about how they're portraying the golem, and I believe they're doing it in a very good way. Also, Somali is like in that like part where I don't completely hate her, but she is still kind of annoying, just like all kids. Like I don't completely hate most all kids, but like they're fucking annoying.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So like, yeah, I still care about Somali, but like, yeah, she can be a little piece of shit sometimes. I also do like how reassuring the Killua's dad is as well. It is very nice and wholesome.
It is, yeah. And the golem learns some parenting stuff from him.
Yes, it won't all be good, but it'll be mostly good.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Sometimes you'll make a shit decision, learn from it, and do better.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Somali. It continues to sort of be a bittersweet thing of it does something nice and then
Reminds you that shit sucks. Life
Yeah.
is awful.
just sort of rubs the salt back into that wound, that open, festering wound that is the golem will die.
You can never be happy.
Everything is terrible. Yeah. So we'll see if the golem really does die. If it gets a second season or a third season.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't want the golem to die. It's mostly why I believe he'll survive. Is I just want him to survive. I want him to make it.
I feel like if you keep going that route, you're going to be super disappointed at the end where he's just dying. You're like, ah, no.
I mean, to be fair, if he dies at the end, I've been saying, well, I won't be super upset.
Okay.
The show has been telling us he's going to die, so if we reach the end and he dies, I'll be like,
You can't.
it's just,
I didn't believe you.
I didn't want this to be true, but it's happening. Will
Yeah.
probably be my reaction. Where if we reach the end and he survives somehow through being remade or something, I'll be able to say I called it.
Actually, that's an interesting one, yeah. Being remade.
Yeah.
And then the roles are reversed, where he's the kid, and she'll be the parent. But that wouldn't really
She'll
work
be-
because she'll only be like
yeah.
6.
1 year younger, or 1 year older, yeah. So like she's gonna be a teenager and she can teach him things, yeah. He'll also probably want to go back to his forest if he gets remade,
Yeah.
which is where golems are supposed to be. Maybe that's what it'll be. He'll die, and then we'll go back to the forest, and we'll find the new golem that lives in the forest.
Oh, and it'll be an older Somali, because she goes back to the forest to see her, or to see the golem.
See the golem.
Interesting. Big brain moves. We'll see what's real. What's actually going to end up happening is that they're both just going to die, and we're both going to be just upset and sad.
That's what we said was going to happen when we first read about this, and we knew it was going to be sad. We
Yeah.
were convinced they were both going to die. That would be a miserable thing. Like the golem, if he dies, it's being told to us, I can deal
Yeah.
with it. If Somali dies, that will be heartbreaking.
The reason I don't think they're going to go that route is because this show is just bittersweet. It hasn't like just gone completely bitter, or completely sweet, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's why I don't think it's just going to be completely awful.
And if you kill a kid, like,
Kids
I
never
mean,
die in
come on.
shows.
yeah, you just don't kill a kid.
That used to be a rule in film. I
You just
think.
don't kill kids.
Yeah.
It's a rule in not Borderlands, Fallout 3 specifically. You
Well,
can't
even in
shoot-
Skyrim, you can't kill kids.
You can't. Yeah, I think in all Bethesda games you can't kill kids. They do not take damage.
I mean, more like I don't know. I feel like this was like a real weird rule that I was taught about, where like kids just usually didn't die, or they weren't killed. They could die from like sicknesses and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was like kind of taboo. Like I think in film or TV to show a kid getting killed.
Yeah. That it's definitely a yeah. I could see some things doing it, but like they probably don't get killed on screen.
I,
Just
the
so much
only
as there's
ones,
a kid who's alive and then
yeah,
they're dead later in like a horror film kind of thing.
the only things I would see where killing kids is it like not that it's like the only thing I remember, the only thing I think I remember where kids die a lot are like comedies where it's just played off for laughs, right? Like darker comedies, but I can't think of anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely know what sort of thing you're thinking about, but yeah, I can't think of an example of one either.
Well, anyways, that's Somali. Hopefully, no one dies. They will because you keep telling us, and I don't think they're lying. So
Yeah.
let's see. What would you like to sell today, Nick?
Oh, excuse me. Today I'm going to sell out to the what am I going to sell out to today? I guess I'll sell out to the Vanarama National League. Or no, actually, I'm going to sell out to Erling Holland, who recently joined my football team, Borussia Dortmund, for criminally little money. Holy crap, we are underpaying for this kid. We paid, I think, 20 million. He has in only just barely over 90 minutes of football already scored 9 goals in the Bundesliga.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's really good.
This kid is insane. I am so happy he has come to my team. It has rejuvenated my team. We may actually win a Bundesliga title. You do not know how happy I am. Of course, God shits in my mouth as a Borussia Dortmund fan, and so undoubtedly, as soon as we get close to competing for the championship in our league, God will strike me down and curse our team with another plague of injuries, because that's what always happens to my team. But for the moment, I am riding on a high. This kid is amazing, and we have one of the best attacking young cores in football at the moment, or at least in the Bundesliga, which is all I care about. I am so happy. So shout out to you, Erling Haaland. Thank you for coming to Borussia Dortmund. You are the greatest thing. You are the great white hype. I love you. Be my dad.
Oh, well.
Despite being younger than me.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to sell out to. I don't think I've sold out to this yet, but I will sell out to Kaguya. The manga, not the character.
Okay. I was wondering.
Because
she's on brand for you, I will say.
No, she's not.
Dark hair, sort of mean.
Meme about lied naturally as he breathes. The manga is just in a really good place. I really have been enjoying the manga a lot.
All right.
It's just very fun. Ishigami has become like a super fucking great character, at least in my opinion. Although he still has his moments where he's kind of a real weird douche. But he wouldn't be Ishigami if he wasn't that.
Yeah, they can't change his character too too radically.
The real douche is actually Chika, who is super manipulative all the time. She's fucking hilarious.
Doesn't she usually fuck it up, or is that changed? And she actually can successfully manipulate people now?
So she manipulates people all the time. Like,
really?
Yes. Like, she basically does it the entire fucking manga. But I'll get to it why later, but yeah, Kaguya the manga, fucking fantastic. I don't really need to sell out to it because a bunch of people are already fucking reading it, and it's like their favorite fucking thing ever, so I know. It's also my favorite fucking thing ever. There you go.
I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
They don't get money for these.
Right.
The entire point of our sellouts is actually to be us selling out to things ironically.
Right, but I'm selling out to it unironically. I actually really like it. Actually, we've been doing that for a while now.
We've always sold out to things. We've always sold out to things that we like, but we sell out to them for no money.
Exactly.
The ironic part is, that we're not getting paid to actually sell out to these
I would
things.
never fucking sell out to Crunchyroll. Unless they gave me money.
I have actually stated on the podcast that I refuse to accept a real sponsor. I refuse to accept a podcast sponsor, I should say.
Okay.
We have to get sponsored by, I believe my qualification was Gatorade or better. Was I think what I said.
Oh, so like a sponsor.
We have to get a sponsor if we're going to get sponsored. I refuse to accept any podcast sponsor.
At some point, we're going to have like live podcasts where we're wearing Gatorade shirts.
I want it to be like one of those episodes of, not episodes, I want it to be like that skit from Wayne's World. We would never sell it to anything. Oh, this Pepsi is delicious.
Same with his Pizza Hut pizza.
Pizza.
Gotten with 30 minutes.
30 minutes or it's free? It also goes well with this bag of nacho cheese Doritos while I'm wearing my Air Jordans. Yeah, that's basically what ABC will become when we get actual legit sponsors. We won't. But I believe on podcast I have stated I refuse to accept a podcast sponsor. It has to be Gatorade or better, and then
Okay.
I will accept it.
All right then.
Alternatively, I will also accept things from less good companies that just want to sponsor things that won't sponsor any other podcast. So, the company that makes Velcro, you can sponsor me. I'll sell out to the company that makes Velcro for money,
we
as long as you agree not to sponsor anything else.
Yeah, sponsor us, Velcro, and we will continue your campaign of it's a snap and latch, not Velcro.
Yeah.
It's
Hook
snap,
and loop
hook and
fasteners.
loop, hook and loop. That's what it was. Not snap and latch.
Yeah, they're hook and loop fasteners.
Yep.
Um,
But anyways,
Also,
sorry.
I guess another thing I thought of, they won't ever, I'm not selling out. Well, I shouldn't say that. Wonder Bread, the company who makes Wonder Bread, fucking sponsor me. Not Brandon because he's not white. I'm white. I'm Wonder Bread white, has been described. Sponsor me.
I'm honey wheat bread.
I will tattoo Wonder Bread on my chest if you sponsor
What
me.
about potato?
Oh, I did say I want to get a tattoo of potato. Oh, I want to get the tattoo of the potato on my back.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just saying if you're gonna get a tattoo first, it's gotta be the fucking potato.
And specifically, it's 3 potatoes in a trench coat.
Oh, I thought it was just a potato. Okay.
Well, I've changed. The original joke for the potato tattoo was
It's just
my
a potato.
My friend
Oh.
accurately described me as 3 potatoes pretending to be a person.
Oh.
So I said if I'm ever going to get a tattoo, I'm going to get a tattoo of 3 potatoes and call it myself, call it a self-portrait.
Okay.
So I want to get a tattoo of 3 potatoes and call it self-portrait is the reason why I want to get a tattoo of a potato.
All right. Well, that makes sense. But anyways, yeah. Wonder Bread. He'll have a Wonder Bread bag with the bread inside, tattoo on his chest.
Yep. It'll actually just be the outline. I guess all bread is an outline of bread because
Right.
it's all crust. But yeah, if it was a slice of Wonder Bread, it would just be the outline of the bread slice, and my skin would make up the rest. Because yeah, I'm Wonder Bread white. I swear to God.
He will also get a tramp stamp of Heinz
Oh, absolutely.
mayonnaise.
Like I said, legit companies I will absolutely get sponsored by, and I will let my body be turned into a NASCAR car.
There we go.
You can buy square inch of my body.
Well, glad to know that you would sell your soul for that. I would sell my soul to
Absolutely.
the devil for $10 fucking. By the way, just to put that out there. If you're the devil,
If you're the devil,
give me $10.
hit me up.
and also
Phone number
superpowers.
is 555-6666. Hit me up, devil.
Anyways, yeah, I was Brandon.
I'm still Nick.
Thank you for listening to episode 87 of this podcast of ABC Annual Book Club.
If you're here, I'm sorry you took a wrong turn. If you make a U-turn, you can go back to your regularly scheduled programming of literally any other podcast.
Yeah.